Hello. So today I'm just going to do a quick haul. I recently went to a independent bookstore nearby and got a couple of books. So I was going to show those off real quick. And then I also wanted to do an update on where I am in my reading. So that's what this is. So first off, we have For the Throne, which which is the book I'm currently reading. I've shown this off previously. I'm only like, what is that? Maybe a fourth, maybe, the way through. I'm liking it a lot so far. This is the sequel to For the Wolf, which I've previously shown. I liked For the Wolf a lot. Ended up giving it 4 stars, I think. 4. And in that book, we follow one sister. It's about a set of twins. So in the first book, we follow Red. She's the younger twin, and she sort of has a very Red Riding Hood / Beauty of the Beast sort of retelling in her story. And this is the older sister, Neve. Red is described as having very like golden brown hair, and Neve, despite what this looks like, Neve has jet black hair. So Neve, so far, from what I can tell, is having more of a Persephone in the underworld type of storyline, and I'm actually enjoying it quite a lot. I didn't think I would, but I thought I would prefer the first sister's story better, but I actually really like hers. Neve, compared to Radaris in the first book, is very cold and closed off. She was she was raised to be queen, so she is very logical in her thinking, whereas Red, her sister, is very more, I would say, emotional and shows her feelings. So anyways, I think I'm gonna like the love interest aspect of this book a little better. It feels more slow burn and like, I don't know, more, I don't want to say natural, but more, just more interesting, I guess, more of an intriguing dynamic between the two. So and the atmosphere is just as great as I remember. I love like the dark, especially since it's set underground in this book. I love the dark, creepy aspect, especially because the person she's stuck down there with, she can't really trust. So it's just very interesting. So yeah, I'm really liking this so far, despite the fact that I'm only a little bit of the way through. I've been reading both these books slowly, and it's not because I don't like them. Actually, I'm really enjoying them, but for some reason, the style of writing that Hannah Whitten does just makes me read slower. I don't know why. She's very descriptive, I would say, and sometimes reading through the descriptions, while they provide really good atmosphere, it just takes longer to get through. But I really love the characters and just like the general vibes of the book, so I'm predicting this will be another 4-star, at least, if not a little higher, like a 4.25 or something. So yeah, really liking this so far. It's not much of an update, but I'm still reading it. So that's that book. And then the next book is a trilogy that I got at the independent bookstore that I went to. So I'm going to show you that one. This is by an author I have read before, and I love the duology I read from her. And it is, let me make sure I have them in the right order. Okay. The Inheritance Cycle by N.K. Jemisin. This is an adult. Actually, this series might be young adult. I don't remember. The duology I read from her, the Dreamblade duology, was adult fantasy, but I'm not sure if this would be considered adult or young adult. I think technically it's like in between those two, from what I've heard. But if you know, please let me know in the comments. But what was I saying? Oh, I don't remember a lot about the plot of this series. I can quickly look. But N.K. Jemisin's writing is just amazing. I love the Dreamblood duology. I gave both books 5 stars. The writing was incredible. The characters, they were so good. The thing about N.K. Jemisin is like, you start reading, it's a little dense, kind of hard to get through, and you're like, okay, just have to, you know, power through a little bit. And then like once you reach like maybe 100 pages in, suddenly you're like hooked and you love everyone so much and you care about them so much and you're scared for them and like you're just so invested that you can't put it down. So there's just something the way she writes is just so vivid, like you can picture everything. And so I really enjoyed that duology, so I have very high hopes for this trilogy. I think she wrote this first, if I remember. So yeah, I think this is earlier, but I've heard good things about it. Let me quickly look, remind myself what it's about. So it's about an outcast whose mother dies under mysterious circumstances. So she's summoned to the majestic city of Sky and named an heiress to the king. But the throne is not easily won, and she's thrust into a vicious power struggle. So sounds very political, which I always love. I love following an outcast. You know, that's always a good protagonist to follow in stories. So yeah, I've heard good things about this trilogy, and my local Barnes & Noble does not have this trilogy separately. They only sell like bind-ups. So when I saw the trilogy in the independent bookstore I went to, I just knew I had to grab them, so I did. So this is the first one. It's called The 100,000 Kingdoms. And here's the sequel, The Broken Kingdoms. Obviously, I'm not going to go into detail of what that's about, because A, I don't know, and B, it would be spoilers if I did know, so. But if you've read this series, please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your non-spoiler thoughts, please. I beg of you. I did just read on the back that this is her debut series, so yeah, I think this is the first series she got published, so very, very interested in seeing how much I like this. Here is the author. I'm sure if you read fantasy, you'll know her name. She's like a household name in the SFF genre of books, so yeah. I know her most popular series is the Broken Earth trilogy. My sister has read those and really liked them, and I do plan to read them, but I've also heard they're kind of heartbreaking. I mean, the Dreamblood duology was not a fun emotional trip either, to be quite honest, but I've heard like the Broken Earth trilogy can like emotionally wound you for life, so I'm kind of scared to start it, but I will read it eventually. I will. I do think that series, well, all of her series are sort of lean more sci-fi. I mean, definitely have fantasy elements, but something about them lean a little sci-fi, and I'm not the biggest sci-fi person personally, but like the way she writes is like the perfect amount of sci-fi for me. So okay, and that was the first 2 books, and then the third one is The Kingdom of Gods. So this is the last cover. Again, like the second one, I'm not going to be giving many spoilers. kind of cool. It's like an author thing on the front. There's like a hole like on the back of the cover. I think it's kind of cool. Just out of curiosity. It looks like there's a glossary in the back, which is pretty cool. But it's around 573 pages. So a decent chunk. To be honest, it's usually pretty long. Okay, so those are the 3 books I got at the independent bookstore that I live by. And then the last thing I was going to show you was I do check books out from my local library using Libby. You can download like ebooks or rent ebooks from your library, which I've been doing more often than physical books. It's just easier, and you don't forget to turn them in. Like, they just return automatically, so you don't have late fees. So yeah, I did get a Kindle at the end of last year. I am not really an ebook reader or an audiobook person. I much prefer physical copies, just for my like concentration reasons. I don't know. I like to hold it and like turn the page. It like does something in my brain. But I will read some books. Like if I'm not sure if I'm gonna love it, I will just check out the library. So that's what I've done. So let me see if I can show you what I am going to read next on here. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen these, but there's been a series of like remixes that a bunch of remixes of popular like classics, and it usually just includes like different perspectives and like diversity of people. So so there's like a Little Women one, there's a Secret Garden one, what am I trying to say? A Wuthering Heights one as well. And this is Romeo and Juliet, Teach the Torches to Burn. So obviously this one features a gay couple. So, but it's like different, sort of different twists on these like old tales. So they're really good. I think I've read the Little Women's run, and also Clash of Steel, which was, what was that one? That one was, it was set on the ocean. I don't know. Look it up if you want to know. But I can't remember. But it's pretty good. So yeah, just I have that one downloaded in case I need something to read quickly. I always like to have like a Libby book in there, like just in case I just want to grab my Kindle and go somewhere. So, but yeah, that was it for today. Those were the only editions that I have. I'm thinking of doing a like bookshelf tour of the bookcases in my other bedroom. I'm not sure which one I'll do next, but if you have any requests, please let me know. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it.